everybody, I hope you're all well today. Today's reading is going to be, I don't know what the title will be by the time I finish, but what do they find physically attractive about you is what I'm looking at. This will probably be a shorter read because I think it's harder to actually search for physical features or feelings. You know how somebody feels by the way they look. So it may be shorter, and that's the only reason it's shorter. You've got three choices: Pantone 677, Pantone 7493, and Pantone 9241. So if you want to take your choice, then we'll get going. Okay, I was going to look at these first because I know these reads are quite difficult. I think I was going to look at them and try and organise in my head what I'm feeling or thinking, but I'm not. I'm going to start straight away because to me it's got a very strong fear of somebody who has been overawed by the initial impact you've had on them. You've got Eros here, you've got the Death card, you've got the Devil card here, and you've got the Karmic Release card. When I first pulled these cards out, the Karmic Release, the Eros there made me think of an instant recognition. It made me think that there's something physically about your presence that they recognise. That feeling of like an intake of breath, or that feeling of slight shakiness. You know, when you meet somebody and you think you know them before, so this person could have almost like double took at you. Yeah, it might look twice at you. It is a case, but it's almost they wouldn't have been able to hide it. Eros is very full on, very strong sexual attraction, physical attraction. It's actually more than that. It's like somebody switched their button on. Somebody switched your button on, but it's like a life button. It's like you can, you know, you've got that passion back to live your life again. It doesn't have to be just sex. It's just like somebody, you float their boat in some way that they may have forgotten about. The Karmic Release and the Eros there, and it's like somebody's slapped around the face with you coming. There's an air of vulnerability about you as well. These cards here at the side, which I've taken off in case my mum's watching, are very sort. I'll show you the card. It just has an air of you're coming across as quite demure. There's something with the Karmic Release as well made me think openness, because there's all these butterflies coming out of this moosey thing. It just makes me think of somebody who's very open, somebody who's got very sort of demure, sweet nature, even if you don't think that you have, even if you're dressed in, I don't know what, you know, something that's totally opposite. I didn't want to insult anybody then. There's an air of oh my gosh, what's that? I can feel it, I can't say it. I'm going to say vulnerable again. It's an air of I don't know whether you're small or the way that you held yourself has got a sweet aura about it, or whether you've got, you know, that sort of typical, you know, large eyes or soft voice, or the way that you connect is very soothing in some way. It feels to me like you're unaware of it initially. Because in the next card here, bottoms galore, there's this feeling that you're talking to this person and what's going on there? It's like they're watching and you're like being really sweet and helping them in some way, or communicating in some way. They don't look like that. And just revealing yourself and being open and being very honest and very raw, or just something, yeah, raw but sweet. It's different. It's a strange feeling, but this person's he looks like he's trying to get under the water. It's like, God, help me. It just feels as if you've had a strong impact and this person is almost like stunned in some way. Okay, let me just look at these. You've got the Devil, you've got the King of Wands down here next to Devil. So regards to how you've come across physically, it's like, and I've said this before, and this is talking about, you know, like Brad Pitt, where he has the mixture of very masculine body, but his face is very sort of soft. He's got like, you know, soft lips, and he just looks, and it's that confusion here of looking like a baby, but also like a, you know, having sex appeal as well, which is extremely confusing because, you know, male or female, the hormones are all over the place. It's like, oh my God, what do I want to do with that person? Very, very strong feeling here of sexual attraction, vulnerability, and you almost being, I think you're very aware, but you're almost immune to their charms. You're the one that is reaching out to them, and they are, makes me think they're quite silent, or internally they are skipping a beat. Now, physically, yeah, there's a smoothness about you. There's something about the way that you stand. There's something about the way that you're very, there's no nerves here from you. When I pulled this comic release card out, it made me think of Gemini because of all the, oh, you can't see these very well, can you? Yes, you can. It's just this one. The sort of a Gemini feeling here of somebody that talks quite fast. But when the other cards came out, you may speak a lot, because of this card. That card, great. You may speak a lot, but there's a feeling here that you've almost mesmerized this person. It's as if they be, honestly, it's as if they're mute. Why is that card so good? There's been a big change from you walking in on this person and the moment you left. I wonder, the only time I've seen these cards recently, the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords, are when somebody's gone into a situation and moved out again, and the person is left standing and feeling that you've taken something from them. And I'm wondering here, with the attraction being the Devil and the Death card there, there's got something, yeah, this person has, I wonder whether you've gone in and they've been they've found it difficult in some way to maintain their control of themselves. You know, perhaps they've stuttered, or perhaps they've not been able to get their words out, or perhaps they've just looked a little bit uneasy, because it makes me feel like you've gone out, you've left, and they've been slightly shaken up by your presence in some way, because you've come across really smooth. You know, it feels like almost like a Scorpio feeling here. I don't mean you have to be Scorpio, but you know how Scorpios conduct themselves. Who was on TV and I was thinking Scorpio the other day? Somebody was very controlled, very fixed, very steady, very, you can't rock me. But with it was sweetness, because there's that gentle ability of wanting to connect emotionally, and this person has, with the King of Wands down here, connected physically and been shaken emotionally, I think, here. Okay, I'm just looking a little bit further at the cards to look at physical features. You've got Death and the Devil card here. It makes me think that you could have dark eyes, or there's something, and I'm thinking the Godfather here, you know, with the dark eyes that are quite intense. Now I'm just getting a Scorpio feel, but there's it's like a, I've said this before in a reading, it's like a really smooth feeling about it as well. It's like you kill with your eyes, but you speak incredibly smoothly. So this person's all over the place wondering, oh my God, this person's eating you with their eyes, but out their mouth is like there's butterflies coming out. I remember doing a course once. It was how to teach gymnastics, and the kids were there chatting about, and it was with the dad was next to them, about how this girl in school had been told that she had spanner eyes, and I was like, ooh, and I was overhearing really. I'm not going to tell that joke. That's just rude. No, I'm not going to tell. It's something to do with nuts tightening. I'm just going to say it like that. This is what this pile makes me think of. You know, it doesn't matter male or female. There's something in the eyes that people fall into that is somehow led to some sort of sexual. Yes, can't quite think of the words there. What What else can I see? Yeah, the Devil card here is different as well. You know, we're talking about that Scorpio feeling of attraction that is like quietly there, but you know, you can almost feel like you're in a net and you can't get away from it. This Devil card's fantastic. There's like the, oh, sorry, it's a film. It reminded me of a film, I forgot the name of it. But there's a person under here, under the net, and it's like an iceberg. So it's like they've only got a taste of you, but the impact has been huge, which you get all the way through this pile here. There's something to do with the way that you talk, the way that you connect, the way that you're unmoved. And I wonder if this person is quite attractive, whether normally they shake people up a bit and you haven't been the least bit shaken. It's something very vulnerable and very sweet about you, and very open about you. You know, could be a feeling here of like a Virgo-y feeling as well. You know, when there's this like sweetness and they aren't really aware of how attractive they are. And that pink at the top as well. Like water, Virgo. And their reaction is Eros, and there's been like a recognition of you that, you know, could have been something that felt like it had come over lifetimes. And I know I say this often, but the Prince of Persia film is, I don't really like the film. Somebody else said they did. To be honest, I was daydreaming when I was watching it, but there was a moment there where I think that he comes back to her and he knows that they've had lifetimes together. She's not aware of it. And they meet each other, you know, eye to eye, and his eyes, within those seconds of his eyes recognizing that, was probably a really beautiful part of that film. This feels like that. Feels like you're just carrying on your everyday activities and being nice to somebody, and they're sinking low into the water with what I'm guessing is trying to hide a feeling of attraction. So I don't know whether they've actually... I mean, he looks quite smooth, doesn't he? You know, the way he's standing there. But his eyes look like, oh my God, help me. It's like I'm trying to look really contained in that position. I'm trying now, but there's something very searching on his face, and it has an air of, oops, I'm going to make a fool of myself. It does make me feel though you've made a quick exit with this connection, where they've actually seen you possibly the time that's made the biggest impact on them. And I wonder whether the Hangman here, whether, you know, you are in contact or not now, to be honest. But the Devil and the Death card make me think of darker skin, darker hair, darker eyes, and something mysterious about you, something very vulnerable about you, something very open about you, very sweet, very innocent. And they haven't reacted in that way at all. They've reacted in a very sort of physical way, but trying to be, it's almost like a help me, I'm going to make a fool of myself feeling here. So to me, it's all in the eyes. It's all in the way you held your body, and the way you were unaware. And then you left them. And then you walked out. I wonder with the Hangman here as well, and Eros, I wonder whether, and a feeling I got probably from the beginning, whether this person had difficulty finding their words. If they stumbled on their words, or if you felt that they weren't actually functioning verbally very well, we all know what that feels like. This is your pile, because that is quite a feeling here with the Hangman here and the attraction, and you coming across very smooth. All right, I'm going to finish there, pile one. I hope that was actually it's not as difficult as you think, but I can't pull out things like, they think you could say things like nice hair and stuff, but to me it's the whole feeling of the contact and the impression there, rather than individual parts. Anyway, hope it's all right for you lot. Bye. Hi there, pile number two. What do they find physically attractive about you? There's a feeling here possibly that they've seen you. You've got the Justice card here. You've got, with lots of little doves on it, you've got cards here at the side, which I'm not going to show you, with lots of different people on it. Oh my God. What are they doing? Of possibly seeing you in a group, and there's somewhere with a Jupiter card there where you have seen, seems to them you just stuck out, because the Jupiter card is expansive, and the Jupiter card makes me think that there's some way I reckon they've seen you connecting in some way. It feels like you have been caught laughing with somebody, or in a group situation, and there's something in the way that you're at ease with yourself and your body. Jupiter, out of all the planets, I think, is the one that's at home in their body. It's the way that you move. The way that Jupiter people move is very sensual. Actually, no, it's very sexual. It's like, you know, when you watch people dance and you and you're wondering, no, I'm not going to go there. Well, you know, when you watch people dance and the way they move, you can translate it to other situations. The Jupiter person is so much at home in their body, you can almost see other situations as they're moving, walking, talking. It's got a very strong draw to it. Very Tina Turner. I'm not saying she was the best dancer, but when she was on stage, she owned the stage. There was a video I was watching the other day on TV of Sammy Davis Jr. and he was just very, I can't think of the words. I guessed his sign. I thought it was Sagittarius. He was just, in a time when people were quite stiff in suits and stuff, he was very at home in his body. His movements were very easy. He was making up. He didn't need a script. This is you. This is what they found attractive about you. I reckon you've been engrossed in a situation. You've been communicating in a group. They've seen you at home in yourself. There's nothing more attractive than a Jupiter as well, than somebody who's themselves. My sister-in-law has got Jupiter, Sagittarius moon, and my brother's got Sagittarius rising. She loves him when he's drunk because he just is himself. You know, most people seeing their husbands or wife drunk like running in the direction. She says, "Oh, you're so lovely when you're drunk," because he's himself. You're doing something and you are just engrossed in being you, and that is absolutely beautiful to this person. There's something as well that, and I'm guessing that they feel that they know you already. This isn't so much a karmic feel like the first spread. This is more a case of familiarity, possibly the Sagittarius relationship that I was talking about with my sister-in-law, my brother. But if you feel familiar, there's something in your ease, the way that you move, the way that you chat, the way that you're at home in yourself. There's an ease there. That is the word. There's an ease there, and there's a fire there that they feel as if it feels part of their family. Because you have got the Six of Cups twice here. You've got Jupiter, you've got Justice. That is giving to me. It's giving, and this person recognising that you're a giver. And I don't just mean in the way that you are communicating, that is part of it. There's something in your warmth that has been, I know this sounds, I can't actually, I'm not like looking for things which are going to tell me bottoms or something like that, but there's something in the warmth and the way that you communicate and the way that you give of yourself that is very much raw and present and you. There's nothing feigned here. And I think that has made you stand out of the crowd. And this person recognises it because it probably is part of them with the Six of Cups there. Once again, as in pile number 1, the Knight of Pentacles. This Knight of Pentacles is walking away. I wonder whether you have had your back towards this person or whether you have left them standing. You've moved out of the situation. This person has watched you moving out of the situation. And if so, the Knight of Pentacles is probably your rear view. Perhaps you shouldn't see these cards down here. It's very enticing in some way. There's something to do with the way that you're, I'm thinking, I am actually said I wasn't going to say it, but there's a feeling here of your rear view being attractive. And Pentacle cards, a bit like fire cards, have solid musculature, as in they just are all there. And Pentacles people tend to have very sturdy legs. And years ago, when I used to do body pump, this girl used to come in and she just had big, solid legs. And I used to look at them thinking, oh, I wish I had muscle on my legs like that. And I can remember thinking, earthy, you know, it must be earthy. Out of all our family, my sister's got Virgo rising, and my husband, we've got loads of Virgos in this family. I don't even know why. Not me. Thicker ankles than the rest of the family, you know, stronger feet, very steady, very much at home in their body, and you know, touching the earth, and it's all there. That, I reckon they're like, you know, I'm not going to say hobbits here, but that is why there's, because they're in contact with the earth, getting more of an earth energy flowing up through them. But what I'm trying to say here, sidetracking immensely, is that the Knight of Pentacles here, with you moving off, there's something to do with your legs and your bottom half that has caught their eye. And that's why it makes me wonder whether they've seen you from behind. I mean, the Death card here as well, you know, and I said it's not so much a karmic feel, but the Death card here with the Six of Cups twice, it feels as if, not so much like pile number one, but it feels as if it's been like the time possibly could be separated before they met you, before they saw you, after they saw you. The Death card makes me think of a transition, and in some way with the Jupiter card, that Jupiter is often associated with death as well, which sounds bizarre, but Jupiter by transit often, like on the MC or the IC, when people die. So that this is making me think of some sort of transition in the way that they saw you and it changed, you know, they thought about you afterwards, you know, like whatever your name is, prior Isabel or after Isabel type. I made that up, I don't even know an Isabel, after Isabel, that type of feeling. I don't know an Isabel, I have to do a little girl. But it feels like people were clamouring for your attention, and I wonder whether they could actually get their snout in some way. They couldn't get closer to you. And Jupiter again, you know, with regards to what they find attractive, is normally legs, long limbs, you know, big smile, big grin, very fluid movements. Sometimes Jupiter tend to have longer faces, especially the men tend to have longer faces, bigger chins. Out of the two signs that have longer faces, normally Aquarius and Jupiter. And Jupiter can often make the eyes further set as well. It's just something about you that they recognise that feels right. But I do think you've been in a situation where they've stood and watched you for quite a while. The King of Cups here, you know, he's just sat there. He's having an emotional reaction to something that he's possibly seeing. And then you've got the Six of Cups here. It's like recognition. It's like recognition of somebody you may remind them of, like past girlfriend or past boyfriend, or, you know, just somebody that looks familiar, maybe a family member. And I've said this before, don't ask me why I keep talking about Jake Gyllenhaal. I know it's like an old lady crush. It's very straightforward, an old lady crush. But I honestly don't go searching him up. It's just things I've noticed in like the last 10 years. Honest. Walking down the street. He's Sagittarius. Yeah, he's Sagittarius sun, isn't he? Walking down the street arm in arm with the lady fish called Wanda. Just that feeling of, you know, she's Sagittarius as well. It's just that familiarity. It's like seeing somebody that feels part of your group, part of your tribe. And you have been there being just yourself, something to do with the bottom half of your body. Maybe they're looking at your back. There's something that is just, you look like you're having fun. You look like you could be fun. You look like somebody they could take on an adventure. They look like, you know, you could possibly put toothbrush in your bag and a warm jacket and go off, you know, climbing mountains together. But there's also, they think that they can connect with you. There's something very familiar about the way that you're acting that it probably reflects something that's already in their family. Which, why I was talking about Jake Gyllenhaal and the, what is her name? Fish called Wanda. Leotard rolling around with John Travolta. I can see her face, short hair, I can't remember her name. I wonder as well whether they've seen, you know, there's been a slight hint of jealousy here with the King of Cups sat there looking, and you've got cards of lots of other people around. Whether they've seen you either with, you know, you could have already been with boyfriend or girlfriend. in a group with boyfriend or girlfriend, so you may be off bounds in that way. But to them, you look like fun. You look like fun. You look as if you haven't got hang-ups. You look as if you could just play. You look as if they could take... This person may be important for them to take you into social situations, is what I'm trying to say. And you probably look as if you're at home in a social situation. It's not just that, because the Six of Cups, you know, and there's lots of cup cards here. There's also that softer part that may, you know, have... Somebody may have two sides to them, like to be out, be sociable, but there's also the home life could be important there, or that possibly could just be connecting with like some recognition of the past there. I mean, Scorpio and the Death and the Jupiter, they're quite big hitters with regards to attraction. And Scorpio, you know, and Jupiter together, they don't muck around with attraction at all. It's very open, it's very easy, it's very done and dusted, if you know what I mean. It's not coy. This isn't fearful attraction, and I don't know, I'm wondering whether they're picking this up from you because this is your plan, how they see you. And if they're picking up a Scorpio Jupiter feel, it's like you're not coy. It's like, I'm going to say up for anything. I don't mean that in a rude way, but it's not feigning disinterest is probably what I'm trying to say. It's not somebody who would ask permission. It's not somebody who would feign disinterest. It's somebody who is in charge of their own body and in charge of their own mind and life. And they, you know, this is like a freedom feeling, a confident feeling that they're picking up from looking at you physically. I don't think they've done much about it with the King of Cups there. I think they've done a lot of watching and not a lot of communicating with you. I think that all that communication has possibly been going on in front of them. Okay. If I had to sum this up, what do they find most attractive about you? Your confidence, your body, your lack of shyness, I suppose. You may be shy, but they don't pick that up. They pick up that you're very good at socialising, and they think that they can grab you and run with that. You're the type of person, I'm going to say put you under their arm, but yes, it probably is that. And that Jupiter there is, you know, Jupiter's really pally. Out of all the signs, it's the one that's going to call your brother or sister and give you a hug, you know, like, you know, squash your head under their arm, that type of thing, play fighting type of thing. I wonder whether you've come across as very friendly, as if you wouldn't mind that, or you're all thinking, yes, I bloody would. But there's that feeling there that you're open to fun and they like to play. And they haven't done much about it. They're watching you. They're looking at, I would guess, the lower half of your body. Don't ask me why I keep saying that. It's openness in this. It's physicality and openness and the ability to connect that they found. I know it's what you actually looking. I'm trying to tell you what they're looking for physically. I'm not really good at that, to be honest. To me, I'm not good at details. If I can feel things as in packages. I was reading something the other day about the size of your hands, which I've always thought, because I can remember seeing people, the bigger your hands, the better you are at details. I've got like little porky trotters. This has you are the package. I don't think this person is good at clicking onto details either. The Knight of Wands here and Jupiter, you may not be either, but there's something in the way that you look like you're ready to enjoy life. There's an openness here, there's a fun, there's a vitality, and there's the ability to move, there's an ability to play. There's a connection here that this person feels as if you're home to them. Not like you're home as in maybe you go home for a cup of tea, but it's like you're familiar to some part of their family probably, or something they've grown up with. Right, that is what I'm getting from that. The only physicality I can get, because I am actually not the best at this, is bottom half of your body, and I'm thinking here strong legs, strong bottom, solid, with a small top half possibly, with the Knight of Wands picture there. Feels like they've done a lot of staring. And you've done a lot of this. This is what these cards here I've got, and the cards at the side, I don't really want to show you them, to be honest, just in case I put an 18 on, have group situations. Okay, right, I'm going to finish there, pile number 2. I hope that helps in some way. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. You have got a totally different feeling to all the other 2 spreads, all of them, all 2 of them. You've got a feeling that the attraction is in coolness and control and the ability to not show your feelings. This person may have like a Capricorn Venus. This person may be quite earthy in some way, maybe a bit of Virgo in there or something, or Aquarius, just somebody that is attracted to people that aren't too exuberant at first. There's got a feeling here of possibly being attracted. Saturn would be you could be older than them with Saturn there. You could be slim on the slimmer side. You could be, Saturn can often make people darker, so you could be quite dark. You could have, Saturn tend to have a good physique, normally in a sort of like slim type of way. I've said this before, had higher cheekbones, dignified. The clothes that you could have been wearing, you could have been very well covered. It's like this person likes to leave things to the imagination. This is a very different feeling from Sagittarius. You normally get something with Sagittarius with Venus who likes things in their face, likes things up front. Often find people with Sagittarius, and they're not afraid of plastic surgery. They're not bothered. It's like all or nothing. This feeling is complete opposite. It's feeling of control. It's a feeling of somebody in navy, the feeling of somebody in a suit or, dressed for work. There's possibly a work feeling here. This person can feel the tension, can feel the attraction, and they respect you for not showing it. This is a very unusual feeling when you're looking for physical characteristics. It's got something to do with dignacious feeling, an air of dignity, somebody that that can hold their own. So I get an image of somebody that stands very straight and somebody that dresses very well. And when I mean well, it's like somebody who is not dressed, it's just in formal clothes. I've got a friend who's got a lot of Capricorn in her. She's actually Sagittarius, but she's got a lot of Sagittarius in her as well. But it's maybe her Venus is in Capricorn. I don't know. But she likes her husband to look clean shaven. She likes him in smart clothes. This has a feeling that you possibly could have been clean shaven. Male or female, I don't really know what I'm talking about here, leave that bit. But there's a feeling of looking smart and possibly a work situation. And in that ability to actually have a measured exterior has been the sexual pull. Because the King of Wands down here with the 7 of Pentacles and the Saturn being what I'm guessing a very cool exterior is a inner rumbling that is probably more passionate by the fact that it's controlled. You've got the Knight of Swords here in the Tower as well. I mean, the Knight of Swords is probably, you could have communicated in some way that was very formal, very, you could have shared ideas that were quite intellectual in some way, or this person may admire your mind. The Tower card there, it's all going on below the surface. But there's something in control. And as I said earlier, you could be older. You could just have that air of being in control. You could be, you could be like, I'm going to say, I can't even get these words out because I don't actually know what they mean, but good at business. You could be, you could have, own your own company or that type of feeling, or give off the impression that you know what you're doing in the work compartment. Comes to work, I'm all off, I don't know what I'm talking about, the work department. And it's like the Judgment card and the Tower in between the Knight of Swords. If you've spoken to this person, that is what is actually taking them over the threshold. The King of Wands above it. There's a feeling here of control and losing it. But in that ability to actually, there's a pious feeling here as well, which is a very strange word to use. it is like having a crush on your boss. It's like having somebody having a crush on somebody who's out of bounds in some way, and you've had a conversation and it's been very straight, nothing unusual has been said, and it's almost like you're looking into each other's eyes and you can both see what the other one's feeling, and they respect you for being mature about the whole thing. So I don't know whether other people were watching and they couldn't do anything or couldn't say anything, but the Judgment, the Tower card, make me think a bit like pile number 1, that when you've gone, it's they've caught their breath. It's like when you've gone, it's shaking them a little bit, very similar to feeling to pile number 1. The Six of Pentacles, with the Saturn card there, somebody is in a position here, I don't know whether it's you or them, possibly you with the Saturn card at the top, where it's either a work situation or somebody holds more power than the other. Like a boss, employee, or a situation where you're not actually, like talking to a bank manager. That isn't come off the top of my head because I've actually experienced that, because I never have, but it's that type of don't show your feelings, and they're respecting you for not showing yours, but underneath there's a whole lot going on here. And the Justice card as well as Libra, so you could be friends, or you could actually function in a friendly situation where it's still controlled. So this person's physically drawn to you because of your ability to function in the material world and your ability to has animal instincts underneath a perfectly functioning exterior. There possibly as well, the Knight of Swords down here. It's a strange card. It reminds me of, the reason I'm saying this, it reminds me, my sister borrowed a suit once to go to a wedding, and it was like that. And I'm thinking here with that earthy feeling here, that very sort of clean-cut Virgo feel as well. It's like everything's meticulous and everything's organised. And this person may have Virgo Venus or an earthy Venus here, where you look like you don't actually dribble down your suit, and they find that really attractive. Everything's controlled in its place and it feels nice, but underneath there's some fire. And the Seven of Pentacles here as well. It's like a little frog sitting on a lily pad, throwing out morsels, or somebody's throwing morsels towards them, and they're like taking it up. It's like, oh, a little fly there, a little fly there. So you may have been there in a situation that feels as if, pious is a strange word, feels as if it's controlled, and one of you is feeding the other morsels in some way, and you know what's going on, you can feel the attraction and it's bubbling there, but neither of you is showing it, and they like that. This isn't somebody that likes overt displays of affection, or like loud hugs. There's people that are very exuberant in the way that they express their emotions. Dignified. There's a strange feeling with this one though, of there's a slight feeling of control in it. That this person may be attracted to men or women that look like they haven't had a lot of partners, which to me is going with this sort of boundary feeling and coolness, and that finding that attractive. That could be that Capricorn feeling. You could even be Cancer or something like that, and there's sort of like that feeling of could be the axis there, the Capricorn Cancer axis of being baby father, baby mother, that type of feeling where it's difficult to explain. It's both ways here, but that Capricorn Cancer axis could play a part there, because there's a feeling of control. There's a feeling of these are strange words like pious, keeps coming into my mind, or sanctity, and I don't even know why. Oh yes, I do. Yes, I do. Move that out of the way. Yeah. Okay, just a strange feeling here. I've just moved Nan out of the way when I realised why I keep saying pious and sanctity, because she hasn't got any pants on. The Judgment card here and the Tower card here. I'm just going to say this because it's a feeling and I don't really know. You know, it could be one of those relationships that have run through lifetimes where you've not been able to actually get close to each other, where it has been almost running in the same situation lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, where there's been some sort of restriction in some way. And it's been felt and it's been felt, and there's something that if you actually went through the Tower and the Judgment card, it could make other lives fall to pieces, or lifestyles fall to pieces. And there's something in recognizing the attraction here this person's found attractive in you and themselves probably, and not acting on it, that there's respect there. You know, Saturn and the Seven of Pentacles, they're very earthy, very slow moving, respectful. You know, Capricorn people fall in love. They could, somebody they work with probably, and somebody, it takes a long time for them to warm up. But there's very sort of King of Wands, there's that, you know, that I know goatee feeling that once they are turned on, they really are turned on. It's finding balance, it's control in here. So, okay, so what do they find physically attractive about you? It's really difficult for me to do physical attraction because I'm not so good with going through body parts and picking it from here. It's more a case of a whole feeling of the way that you come across, to be honest. And I knew that before I started, the way I would do it. Physically, it's the way that you stand with an air of dignity, possibly. You could have a grace about you, a way that you interact with people that's very sort of cool and collected, and you're not easily rumbled in many ways. You could possibly work with this person, but there's something also, you know, there's something where the Justice card there is still Libra, so the way that you communicate with them is still makes them feel good. You know, it's easy but controlled. So I don't know whether this is a very formal situation where you've met this person, but there's a feeling here below the surface of wanting to rumble somebody in a white t-shirt, if you know what I mean here. The Judgment card and the Tower is like somebody that wants to ruffle your white sheets. In the feeling here of I once knew a mum who was, her house was meticulously tidy. You know, she had 5 kids, everything was white. Super mum, super controlled mum. But then she used to like to take the kids out, and she used to love seeing them dirty and covered in mud, because it was like the release of that control of that, you know, which she had. And then she would say it herself, this has got this feeling, it's almost like what they find physically attractive about you is the fact they do want to ruffle your white sheets. It's that look of, you know, you look as if you're untouchable in some ways. It's the way that you dress, perhaps your position in life, perhaps your position with regards to them. It's a feeling that possibly has run, you know, over lifetimes before, of wanting to disturb your equilibrium in some way, but really a sense of gratitude that you haven't done it in public. This is a private wanting to disturb your equilibrium. That's what they found most attractive about you, is that you hold your own in public. You know, and Capricorn and Saturn are very much about public appearance. But with, you know, you're still sending out messages. The Seven of Pentacles, they can still feel it. You can both see it. This is like subtle messages here. This is like hands brushing. This is like eye contact. This is, you know, brushing legs while you sit next to each other. This is possibly holding a gaze too long. This is, you know, it's just the way that you've perhaps helped them with the work, or vice versa, where the attraction has been felt and seen. This isn't so much body parts. And that Priestess card that I heard earlier, you know, could have been, you could have been in a position where you've had that aura about you, which has made you almost, I mean, priestesses aren't always untouchable, because there's 2 sides to that. You know, sometimes they were, you know, the complete opposite for a particular reason. But, you know, here, you know, you could have been untouchable in some way. So I don't know whether there is some sort of barrier between the pair of you here, but with that barrier is actually building on this sexual attraction. Okay, I'm going to finish there, pile number 3. I hope that helps in some way. Not too hot at doing that actual body parts, because to be honest, I wouldn't feel it, and I can feel what I'm saying now, but I wouldn't be feeling the body parts unless something really particular hits me. You know, I'd be struggling too much to for it to mean anything to me. Okay, right, I hope that helps you, pile number 3. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.